So what's up, everyone? This is a new show, okay? We have Sir Patrick again. I think he's a long-time guest, okay? And it's been a while right now. So I'm sure you missed him a great deal, okay? So we want to start with this. To start off this show, we always give podcast quotes, okay? As always, so I have 10 for you, okay? And if you're just watching and you have not subscribed, make sure you do so. And if you're a customer, you're watching this is for you. We organize this podcast for customers of Gare Science / Big Choice. So if you are watching, understand that it is for you. So make sure you watch, learn as much as you can, and ask your questions. Number one, allow your actions virtually write or design your dreams. Okay, that's the first quote we have. Allow your actions to virtually write or design your dreams. Number two, look straight ahead. Don't even turn your head to look. Watch your step, stick to the path, and be safe. Don't sidetrack. Pull back your foot from danger. Okay. Number three, until you see the visions of God, you remain a captive to your own circumstance. Okay. Number four, a vision void a vision void life is a frustration filled life. Okay, a vision void life is a frustration filled life. Number five, limit the energy you expend on things and you'll be happy as soon as you start doing only what matters most. Number six, choose your future. Number seven, the man or woman who makes no contribution to destructive thoughts and talks is a valuable asset anywhere. Number eight, when you take responsibility for what you can do, God will handle what you can't. Number nine, the man who is careful with his choices will not fail to be regarded or styled as one of the gods. Number 10, a man who knows how far he will go when he starts paying close attention to his thoughts, feelings. A man who knows how far he will go will start paying attention to his thoughts, friends, feelings, and decision. Okay, so these are the quotes we have. Learn whatever you want to pick from there. Just grab and apply in your life. Okay, so the first we have right now, and the topic for this show, we're going to be discussing a new heaven. Okay, a new heaven and hell. So in this show, we're basically going to be redefining things. So we're going to redefine a lot of things, scriptures here and there, and let's dig deep so we understand more about what this show is about. Okay, so now a new heaven and hell. So we have a guest here. His name is Sir Patrick, and we just want to ask him because this guy is an erudite, okay, nerd. Okay, he knows a lot about all this stuff. Okay, so probably he's gonna solve this problem for us. Okay, this misinterpretation and everything. So right now, let's understand right now. So Patrick, the first. Okay, let's understand. What do you mean by a new heaven and a new hell? What can you say about that first?
For me, heaven by definition is like a place in which, like paradise, in which everything is perfect and it's like a reward, a place where people who have done a lot of good from a particular existence, like during their life, like that is where they go to. While hell is where the people who did not meet the criteria for being good enough, hell is now where they go to receive their punishment. So in a way, it's almost like a sort of balance. So if you do good while you're alive, you get heaven as your reward. Then if you do bad, get hell as a punishment. That is, you go to hell as punishment.
Okay, we go to hell as punishment. So if we are saying heaven and hell is if we are saying heaven and hell are real, then are we trying to say that life is not real? That means we're trying to say there are two forms of living. Okay, you live in this one, then you go to another place where you get a reward. That is trying to say life is not real. What do you think about it? What do you think about this?
trying to say that life is not like the whole concept of heaven and hell. Not actually saying that our lives are not real. You're just saying that it's just more of a this particular life we live is, let's say, like a test. The whole life is a test. So whatsoever you do within that life now is those are the things that you will be judged with. So if you do good during this life, you get eternal life. If you do bad, you get eternal punishment.
Wow, this is
So it's not that
beautiful.
it's not an indication that this life that we live is not real. This life is very, very real. But it's just saying that the whole concept is that if you do like based on how you live this particular one that you have now, that
Yeah.
will determine your eternity.
Okay, that will determine your eternity. Okay, before we go into the questions we have here, let's discuss a little more about this now. And I watched Fox recently, and they were saying they got UFO on camera here and there, unidentified, I think, forest organism. Those things that will just pay you a visit, and probably I think they leave people with heartbreak and nausea, many things. That's what they put on Fox. Now, those things that are they seem to be organisms, they seem to be living things, but they don't really show themselves as real things. Now, how do we understand the whole concept behind this? Now, you are trying to say that life is real. That life is real. Okay, before we go into this UFO concept of a thing, let us understand this. Is death actually a transition from one life to another?
For me, I don't think death for me is not really like a transition. Like based on every single religion or every single culture that believes it, death is not really a transition for them. Death is like a way to free the soul from the body. So the body now is mortal, while the soul is immortal. So death is just a way for the body to stop existing and to let go of the soul. That probably the soul now, I
Mm,
think it's the soul that transitions because the soul now frees itself from the body and it's now able to be detached from whatsoever the body wants or desires. Like death, in a way, detaches the soul from the body's desires.
okay, so now, right now, we are going to really be raw, okay, in this podcast because we want to solve problems. Okay, now, so how true or how real do you really feel that the soul exists, the spirit exists? Now, is it actually just a concept that is now a fad? Everybody must accept it right now. We want to know, is it how true is it that the soul actually exists and the spirit actually exists?
The soul exists. Okay. For me, though, I don't really have like a concrete evidence, more of speculations, because based on sometimes if you are thinking like if you're and you're trying to think of some particular things, you will know that within you there is almost like you are in control, but your body is almost like you can see yourself saying things, and then there is another form of you trying to counter or just going along with whatsoever you are saying. That
Yeah.
is almost an indication of your mind and your mind and your brain are like two separate yet attached organisms. Like they are together, but at times they can have separate opinions about certain things. Like sometimes you could feel your mind, like it's, let's say your brain. Your brain is what actually deals with your everyday thoughts. That is, your brain is like constantly active, processing, thinking in the forefront, like as you are living your everyday life. But sometimes you could get like a deep thought from within you. That is, you know that this thought does not come from your brain or that is your normal everyday thinking. That so these thoughts definitely must come from somewhere. So I think for me that is like an indication, like there is a soul or there is something like we don't just have our mind that goes through every day. We also have like a soul thinking deep inside of us.
Okay, now, is this soul having a definite shape? Like, hey, my soul must be like me, then thinking probably more critically about things. Okay, so is my soul having a definite shape, or is it a level of living or something?
For me, I don't think I've even ever read about it, the soul, but I don't think the soul has like a definite shape or definite form. Like I don't think it must resemble our current being. Probably the makeup. Again, nobody has seen the soul. Like nobody has actually interacted with the soul. So definitely, for me, all evidence indicates that the soul, the makeup of the soul, is like, let's say the form of the soul could be malleable, that is, the form of the soul could change. It's not like us having a definite form for our body where we have rigid parts of us. So I think the soul will be this form of like it'll be able to change its form constantly depending on the needs. But again, like I said, nobody has ever seen or interacted, like no human being,
Yeah.
living human being, has seen or interacted with his soul.
Okay. No living being and still not interact with the soul. Like I said, we're going to be raw here. Now, before we were able to take man, to put man on the moon, there were people who brought speculations that actually turned out to be true, and probably all close to the real thing that actually we found when man was put on the moon. So right now, I need you right now to give us kind of a mental description of what you think the soul looks like, a mental description, or something like you can speak figuratively here. You can speak figuratively here. We need a mental description or something that perfectly explains how the soul looks. If you need time for this, I will go into other things so you think about it. So whichever one you want.
Let me see. Yeah, I think let's go over other things so that I
Okay,
can keep
okay,
on
we'll come back
thinking
to
of
that.
it.
Okay, now I want to ask you a question before we dig deep into the main podcast questions. The one I want to have is this: the existence of UFO. Like I said, in the US, this thing is
Yeah.
becoming, like, should I say, more real every day. This UFO thing, to the extent it gets on their national station, like it's there. UFO, unidentified first organisms. I think that, I guess that is the full meaning. But the U stands for unidentified, okay? But I may be wrong in the other FO. So they just pay people visit, and probably it's just like a spirit thing that just comes up, or something that just moves in the air. You don't know what it really is. That's why it is unidentified, because they've never been able to identify what it actually is. So right now, the existence of UFO in the United States of America. The reason why I believe that state and that country a lot is because they don't they don't judge things based on superstition most of the time. More often than not, they judge things from the view of science. Okay, they stay on the background of science. That's what gives them victory most times. That's why I love watching their Fox TV. That's why I love watching it. So they judge on the base of science. So right now, if they being probably more on the basis of science are telling you, hey, UFO exists, they've seen it, that means we really have to pay attention to this, because this is probably is not a superstition. We have to pay attention to it. So right now, this is coming from the United States of America. UFO, the existence of UFO. If you meet a scientist there, hey, UFO exists, I saw a UFO, they're going to tell you, hey, show us a proof, okay, that you actually encountered the UFO. And most times they can't show the proof, okay, usually because it pays them on an unexpected visit, okay. So right now, but it's actually real, because yeah, it's actually real. Due to testimonies, etc, it's real. But science hasn't been able to trap the organisms to actually know what they are. So right now, I want to ask this question: is there a counter life? Like, is there a counter life? Is there a life that is happening right now in reverse to what we are actually experiencing? Number one, is there a counter life? Well, the existence of UFO could tell something more about what we may not know about our country, about our world. So we want to know right now: is there a counter life? Is there a life that's happening alongside, concurrently, simultaneously with ours, but probably it's counter, or probably whatsoever, probably ahead of us whatsoever? Is that kind of thing likely to be happening? That's the question.
For me, I would not say. For me, though, based on I've not really seen any evidence that there is
Yeah.
like a form of counter life, like how we humans now, and probably they might be aliens. But the universe is so expansive, and there
Yeah.
may be other life forms on other planets that we have not yet discovered or interacted with. But for me, the UFOs now again, the US military mainly calls them UAPs, meaning
Okay.
unidentified area phenomena.
Okay.
So I think they even did a recent study into all these UAPs.
Yeah.
What they found out that most of them were caused by, like most of the ones that the US military, that is their Air Force and their Navy,
Yeah.
that they were able to capture some area phenomena on that with their equipment. They were able to see all these things moving around, and
Yeah,
like
that's true.
the motion that these things did, like they were not possible with normal equipment, normal aircraft.
Yes.
So that's why they call them unidentified
Exactly.
area. But when I think as of now, as of when they did that report, they had found out over about 400 and something reports. But when they now went back and now actually started investigating most of all those reports, they saw that most of the times it was like based on how their sensor captured a particular light. Most of those things that were captured by their own sensors were not actually real. Then most of them that their sensors captured were actually stealth crafts, like this, built by other nations to try to spy on them. But there are still some other issues that they have that they have not yet been able to ascertain. Okay, is this actually just another glitch from our sensors, or is this an actual alien or unidentified flying object? And they are taking it seriously, because for them they are trying to explain all this thing again. They are the military to know if this would be a threat to America, for example, or is this some form of advancement by any other country in the world. So they are actively monitoring all these things. But for now, they are able to actually prove that most of all these cases that they actually thought were UFOs were not actually UFOs. They were just mainly glitched from their own sensors, or other aircraft from foreign nations trying to spy on them. So for me, the whole theory of whether UAPs are actually, like, if they're actually a real thing or not, is still under consideration, because there is always this skepticism around the whole matter. And again, with most of all these shows like Fox, you know that they are discovery shows. Definitely, they will just want to put all these things on air, like, so that they want to make TV shows out of it. Because definitely, most of what people have seen, most of what all those people have seen, it could be like they actually saw something new. But probably what they saw was different from what they thought. Like, probably they just saw a weird light or a one weird occurrence that they had never seen before.
Yes.
Could not be a UFO, but since they have never seen that type of thing,
they call
you
it.
can now actually say, report it that, okay,
Yeah,
I saw a UFO, and this is what it looked like there was this bright light in the sky, things like that. So for me, the whole idea of whether UFOs are real or not is still under consideration. I'm open to it being real, but for now, I don't really, because even the US military, they are still trying to investigate if all these things are actually a real concern or not.
Okay, that's really beautiful. Thanks a lot for this. Okay, he didn't even know we're gonna be discussing about UFO. Okay, so if you're watching, like, you have to give this a thumbs up and appreciate our guest. Okay, so right now, I just want to talk about another thing right now. Many people, when I tell them, hey, what if we stop death? They are really, hey, we can't stop death, as if they really like death of a thing. Man, I hate death so much. So that's if they really like death. But the truth is, if there is hope that we can actually stop death, there is this energy that comes. There's this kind of thing that comes to me. I don't know about others, okay? That really comes to me. So I'm really, really hopeful that one day, like, we are going to really stop death. Now, we are going to use this to get into the main questions right now. Just imagine that we stop death, that we are able to stop death. What will happen to our religious manuscripts?
I mean, to break the whole concept of, I think, just about every religion, because, like, that would be just messy with because again, a lot of religions, apart from Christianity, most of them even base their whole concept around death. Like, their whole belief is in a way around get. So
Yes.
if you not get rid of that
You
debt,
have that
you have
feeling.
just gotten rid of a lot of religions. But
Ah.
for me, I don't think we'll ever be able to stop debt. So we'll
Okay.
just be able to delay it. That is, we're able to give ourselves an extension. So
Okay.
I think I have actually seen some research that scientists are actually doing to try to delay death or to extend the person's life. I think
Okay.
one of the ideas that they're thinking of is trying to take blood from like a younger person or like a
Yeah.
younger, let's say the experiment they tried it on rats. What they found out was that once they take blood from a younger rat and transfuse it into an
It,
older rat,
mm,
that older rat lived longer.
wow.
So I remember like in one of our podcasts when I
Mm,
told you that I think the reason why we die is because most of the organs that's supposed to keep on producing cells in our body,
yeah, no
most
longer.
importantly, like those organs they age over time
Yeah.
and most of their parts don't get replaced. So once those organs die, we are not able to continuously create things that like we are not able to continuously create cells that actually keep us alive. So with this approach now, I think what they are now doing is that since if those organs now can no longer keep up
Mm,
with the rates at which as you age, most your organs age too.
yeah.
So I think now they are not trying to bypass the organs for probably creating in blood, like blood now is
Yeah.
very useful
Yeah. Yeah.
for
Very.
human beings. I think the blood in younger human beings like us is much more much more healthy and much more better than one in older people. So I think now what they are not trying to do is that trying to skip the blood creating organs in our body. They're just trying to infuse most of the blood directly to older generations. So I think they have not started human trials yet, so, but
Mm,
that is just one thing that they are looking at. So for me, I don't think we'll be able to create like we'll be able to reach a
mm,
time where we'll be able to live where we can live forever. But we'll be able to either delay death for people or make it so that as people age, they don't like their whole body does not break down or their body does not age that much. Like they say, you know that people age, definitely their whole body just starts wrinkling, most organs start failing. So
mm,
there is a higher likelihood of people's organs failing as they get older. But if we can actually find a way to continue pumping most of all these things that our body needs, like blood or
mm.
let's say some other thing that the body needs, like
Hormones.
if we can just keep on giving them all
Yeah.
those access to all those particular things, I think we might be able to slow down and probably even extend death for some people.
Okay, if we had a pill that could stop death, would you take it? Me, for me, I'll take it like at a fast click. What about you?
For me, though, I think I would take it out of curiosity, like just to see what the future would. You know, like I just want to live forever, but I just want to see what the because definitely you'll be curious now. Like who does
Yes.
not want to see like okay, let's say when you were born, for example, now a lot of the things that we did not have a lot of all these things that we have now. Like compared to let's say 20, 10, 15 years ago, we did not have smartphones or internet connection like this or
Yeah.
cars or a lot of the things that we see today. So for me, it would be out of curiosity for wonder, like okay, maybe 100 years from now, what will human beings have come up with or
Yeah.
what will we have made like 200, 300? For me, it would be out of curiosity just to see what the future holds.
Okay. For me, I'll take the pill because I want to go out of space because I know by that time they give us 100 years from now, we may be able to get a create a machine that will take us out of space exploration. And I don't just want to live forever. I want a situation whereby death will be stopped and we'll encounter aliens. And I just want that kind of magic. But I don't know how really this can happen. Okay, so right now I don't know how possible this is. I don't really know. So right now our experience is real. This is the show. A new heaven and hell. We are going to really be raw here. Our experience is real. That's the first question we have.
Our experience is real
Yeah,
on earth here.
yes. Because we
Yes,
will be
our
judged
experiences
by.
are very
Yeah, because from the Bible's view, okay, we will be judged by our experiences, right? By what we do, right? So are these experiences real?
yeah. For me, our experiences are very, very real because we are, in a way, we still make the choices that affect our life. But sometimes we could be at the mercy of a lot of things. Like again, the only thing that we mostly truly control are just few things that we can make or few things that we own. Like you cannot control even your body, like when you live or when you die. There are just some few things that are within our control.
Yeah.
So in a way, we still influence some things. So I think if we are to be judged by, like if we are to be judged by what we do, we'll be judged by how we influence the things that we control. That is how we manage what was put under our own personal control. Like okay, how you lived your life in a particular way, or like let's say, or what particular decision you took concerning something that you were put in charge of. So for me, yes, I think our experiences are very, very real.
Okay. The next question is, do you think that life is planned? If yes, what do you think is the future?
Well, for me, I think life is planned for some people, and life is very interesting for some others. Too interesting for some. So for me, why I say life is planned for some people is that
Okay.
some people don't really live,
Okay.
and it's a very painful thing. They just go through life without seeing, learning, or feeling anything new.
Anything.
Like their minds are just locked, and they lock their minds themselves because like they just come in and it's almost like they have this, like somebody just hand them a template. Okay, this is how you should live your life, and they don't question. Okay, can't I do this? Can't I learn this? Can't I see this? They don't live. They don't live this sphere. Like they don't live this their sphere that they already use, like the sphere of everything that they know. They just simply get trapped in what they are told. They're not used to say, okay, can't I learn this thing? Okay, can't I do this thing? And for me, to be able to make your life more interesting, you need to be curious. So
Yeah.
curiosity for me doesn't kill the cat; it helps the cat get out of the bag. So if you are not curious, you just get that. A lot of people that you see around our society today, they are not curious. They are not eager to learn new things, to seek new experiences, or to just find out new. Like the way now
Yeah.
you are thinking of going to space or visiting aliens. Some people they don't. If you would tell some people, they will tell you that you are crazy. Like for them, they don't just want to know or find new
At
things. They
all.
are just simply repeating what somebody else had told them. Why the ones that are interesting? Like I think some people that really live life to the fullest on earth are the white people. They say
Yeah.
that okay, they are crazy, that they do a lot of crazy things, or why
Mm.
black people we are much more conservative, they are more liberal. The reason, if you notice, yes, they do make a lot of mistakes and they do go like they do a lot of crazy things,
Yes.
but they also do a lot of nice, interesting things.
Yes.
And that is why they are now having this heavy influence on us here. Because
Yes.
why? Let's say their lives, like a lot of things, like their whole lives are in the positive realm of being from interesting to bland. They are
Yeah.
very, very
Uh,
positive in the interesting sector. But a
yes.
lot of lives here are very bland. So if you see people having fun, again, happiness is something that is contagious. So if you see a lot of people like now, black people are looking at the white people like, okay, they are having a lot of fun. Like their lives are very interesting. Like they get to go to new places, make new things, find new
Mm.
experiences, discover
Invent
planets.
things.
So definitely now, a lot of people are now being, because again, they are seeing that people over there are being happy. So that is why we are now becoming, a lot of our societies are now becoming more and more influenced by
Mm.
what they do. Because again, here, being bland is something that has been taught to, like, it's something that a lot of people just seem to want to accept because they think that being bland is the right way to go. Like some people they feel like if you are, let's say, I think I remember hearing one pastor say one time that as a Christian you're not supposed to laugh too much, that if you laugh too much that God is somebody that does not laugh or smile, or is not somebody that is happy. So just imagine that sort of mentality being passed around and being passed, because some people feel like if you are too happy, it's almost like happiness is of the devil. But we
Yeah.
know that here we are very religious now. But most
Yes.
of them they feel like if you are trying to be interesting, that you must go, like things that are bad for you to live an interesting life. So definitely now they just don't try to they don't try to seek new experiences because they feel like, okay, this life that I already live, since I'm not doing any bad in it or the life is good, why should I go outside and probably I might fall into one temptation or I might do something crazy.
Yeah.
So most of them, they just feel relaxed, they just fall back into being bland. But they forget that there are a lot of experiences that are like a lot of nice experiences that you can have that are good, that you must not do anything harmful or either to yourself or to society.
Wow, this is awesome. This is spectacular. Okay, that is exactly what's going on. Okay, especially in our, I've listened to many white people from the Western world talk. Majority of them, they just like we just came to connect. Like we just tend to connect. And if you read most of their books, man, you understand why the people are so empowered to create different things. You read their books. There's a recent one we're reading right now. All these things Added by James Allen. Man, if you check that book, there's power in it. Like you see all these ideas, and if you go there, you see the books that are so valuable. So valuable. Now all these ideas are valuable to the common man. Like it empowers them, it nourishes them. Okay, but over here we just do the direct opposite. So it's tied to parenting, it's tied to how the home was built, and etc. We're gonna treat that on another podcast.
Another thing.
Yeah,
Another thing that still make our lives different from their own.
go on.
Since we live in, let's say, our economic situation in this part of the world, it is worse than theirs over there. We now take jobs, like we now take success too seriously to the point where the success does not really mean anything to our lives. Because let's say the reason why we forget the reasons why we wanted to like be successful in the first place. We just try success for just being for the sole reason of just to be called successful. We forget that the reason why anybody in the first place wants to be successful is to live a nice, interesting life. But now here, like you see, some people, they don't let their children play at all, or they don't let them they don't let them have fun at all. If you see the children, if they don't see the children trying to play or trying to learn something new, they'll just say, go and read your books, or
Yes.
why are you playing, or things like that. Like they don't let the children's mind to travel around. Like if you are afraid that your child might go to the wrong place, then show them good places to travel to. Let their mind see show them good experiences that you feel like they should have. But here, it's almost like for a lot of, particularly some places, for some parents, they just feel like their whole child's life, they should just read and read and read, then be successful. Because again, most of those people are now successful. They are now too busy to even have fun, to have happiness. So most people, they just live their whole life's plan. They become successful, but the success does not really help them. Like they are rich, but they are not happy. Okay. And that is what is being taught around a lot here in Nigeria. Like people, they reach the levels. Some people reach the levels that they pray and they work for to get to, but they don't really live. They don't really live with, like, they don't really see that the happiness that comes from all these things. So in a way, I think it's something that is just being taught here.
Okay,
in our society.
That's very true, because you said, now let me conclude what you said. You said success here doesn't really carry fun, doesn't really carry happiness. That's really true. That's really correct. Because if you check the successful people here, they're very busy. They don't have time for their families. They travel before they come back 6 months. Like that sucks. That sucks. It's a guy Wesley Virgin.
Exactly.
He says, you know what he says? He says, man, every day it's an internet marketer. I said every single day, like, he has fun with his family. Every single day. He designed his life, his business, in a way that he's going to have fun, because the purpose of the business was never eliminated. Okay, you see, the purpose of the business was never eliminated. So he was able to manifest that, and boom, man, he has a lot of time. If you say, okay, I want to speak with you, Wes, unless he just doesn't want to talk to you, otherwise he has the time. But over here is the direct opposite. So what do we need to do to restructure that? in our country here in Nigeria.
For me, I think it's the individuals that 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 needs to, like, every individual in this our country, we need to actually start taking, like, being happy is something that we should strive for. I think if people are not happy, I think happiness is what gives life a purpose.
Yeah.
Because if there is no happiness in your whole life, imagine just living your whole life just being like a worker or a drone. You don't do anything, you don't find real happiness. Like, you just go through life, or life just goes through you. You don't experience any good thing. Like, your everyday is just filled with work, or you're just so occupied that you don't even have this happiness. So I think to change that thing is if a lot of individuals now need to start saying, okay, we actually need to change our idea of how life should be. Life is not a joke.
Yes.
Most people here live life like a joke because they feel like probably because of religion, because of their upbringing, they just feel like in your whole life you should just be serious. Because if you are not for them, if you are not serious, nobody will take you seriously. So they don't just live their whole lives like as if they are corporate workers, like they work in a bank. So there is no free time for them to just take that edge off and relax. Again, another thing that you'll notice is that since we here, we don't really value, like, being happy, like not just laughing once in a while, like actually living happily a lot, like actually gaining, how will I put it, like being able to have this, how will I put it, like being able to be rewarded by the work we do. It affects a lot of the things that we do here.
Yeah.
Because one thing that I've looked at with the white people is that the reason why they can make better and better things is that from the things they make, they try to make them better and better. And those things now, by making those things better and better, there is this satisfaction that they get.
That's true.
And that is something here now. We are doing the thing. For them now, whatever work a lot of them do, it's almost like a form of passion. Like, okay, I'm in this particular field because I like this thing, or I'm doing this particular, if I'm a painter or a graphic designer, I'm doing this particular thing because this is my passion, this is what I want to do. And definitely it is a job. As you are doing it in better ways, you must get paid.
Yeah.
And you get even more satisfaction from things. Why here we mainly do a lot of things that we do just for the money.
Yeah.
And if you do it just for the money, then your mind does not really travel to different places. Like, okay, by travel to different, your mind does not really, you are not really passionate about that particular thing that you are doing. You just show up every day. It's almost, you are doing the bare minimum. Then once it's time to go home, you just go back home. You don't really seek to improve that. Okay, how can I make this thing the best way I can? And it affects our lives here. Because if you will notice how we plan a lot of, like, if you have a job here in Nigeria, most jobs don't let you even have time for yourself, like personal time for yourself.
They don't care now.
Most of them, they will order you that, okay, be in the office by 8, before you close, will be by 6. And most of them, they will even ask you to come during the weekend. So from Monday to Sunday, for example, you have a lot of people have no personal time for themselves. In a way, their lives are just completely blank.
Yeah.
There is no fun in their lives. Like, nobody will want to live that kind of life that they live, because they are not learning new things. Like, that's why a lot of people, and if there is no fun, again, it's not just being bland. There is no fun. A lot of sadness and depression and anger overtakes that particular. That's why most people here in this country, they are more aggressive than people over there. Because a lot of people over there, they try to be happy.
Yeah.
Whether whatever,
Yes.
they chase happiness actively.
Yes.
Like, they are constantly looking for, okay, which new experience have I not tried that can make me even happier?
Yeah, that's true.
But here, it's almost like happiness is a crime.
Yeah, it's like happiness can make you unsuccessful. Like here in our country, in Nigeria, it's like I can say correctly that everybody believes to some level that you can't make money when you're happy. People believe you make money when you are aggressive, when you are hungry. That is the direct opposite. That's the direct opposite. That's never correct.
I was listening. Somebody was giving a talk one day.
Okay.
It was not like The reason why most Nigerians don't succeed is because they work for that out of 24 hours in a day, they work for 8, they play for 8, and they sleep for another 8. You understand? Like, how can those particular people now be successful? In my mind is that so definitely what he's trying to aim at, or what he's trying to say, is that we should work more than that 8 hours in a day. But for me, what just entered my mind was that, okay, if we chase success so much, who is supposed to benefit from this success if we are supposed to give more and more time to work? When are we not supposed to actually enjoy the things that we have worked for? When
For
are we
that's
supposed to
true.
enjoy the harvest
The
of
whole
every single thing? If we
yeah,
just keep on giving more and more
time.
time to work just so that we can be successful, when we actually live the life that we actually told ourselves that, okay, this is what I want to, if I'm successful, this is what I would do, or this is what I would buy. When are we supposed to actually enjoy the things that we buy or the houses that we build if we just keep on working and working?
So people should understand that, hey, those those beliefs that are in you subconsciously, you can't make money when you are happy, you have to get rid of them
Yes.
because they are not going to work. Okay, you're just going to live like every other person if you try it out. So you're going to live like just every other person. So people, you if you're watching from Nigeria, you got to understand. You understand what we're talking about. Okay, this is something that even in examination, they don't think they can pass the exam without starving. They think it's the pain they inflict on themselves that will make them pass. No, it's the what you put there is the answer. What you click that make you pass. So find smart ways to put information in your head. Many people think it's the pain they inflict on themselves that will make them pass. It's not the pain. Okay, so we should learn to understand this. And speaker said people we should learn to pursue happiness actively. That's what listen, I've followed people from the western world may like all my life. Okay, I've followed them 4 years 5 years ago on YouTube. What they all do is they pursue happiness. Tom Billion, impact theory, all it does is happiness, happiness, food that will make you healthy, this and that. They pursue
Because
happiness.
if you look at it, there they live, they work in order to fund their happiness.
Uh-huh.
Here we just work and work. Because I think we have forgotten that the reason why you should make money in the first place is that you want to buy newer and better things that will improve your quality of life.
Yeah.
So like the car you buy is not just for you car, you're supposed to actually drive that car and
Yeah.
have fun. With the money left in your pocket, you're supposed to take yourself to places to have fun. You're supposed to go on vacations to have fun. So I
Yes.
think that is what a lot of people now they forget all those things. So they just become so busy
In the
working for
grind.
these things. Like is in a way that creates this work centric life where
Yeah.
people just work and work. Then you wonder, okay, why is this person working so hard? When will the person actually get to
Chai.
spend or just actually get to use whatever they have worked for?
That is the question you have to ask yourself right now if you're watching. Because for me, I want to be successful because I want to have my own farm. I like to control things. So I want to have my own farm and I want to have my own company and I want to work anytime I want to work and I want to be able to earn money without me touching the phone. So you see these things right now will bring satisfaction and happiness to me. That is just how to play the game. Okay? But you watch it right now, you need to do something like this. You have to deliberately change yourself because many of the people over here in our country are stuck in this mindset, this way of thinking. They think there's no way out. But Proctor says something. He said a man rides Okada because he thinks that is the only thing he can do for money. He thinks so. That is not the only thing. No, he thinks that is the only thing. So, also, what you do is direct proportion with what you think you can actually do. Okay, so if you see yourself as a limitless human, a powerful person, you will see yourself doing powerful things. That is the freaking truth. Okay, so if you are doing whatever you are doing right now, that is what you think you can do. That's how you are doing it. So that is just it right now. So that is just it right now. Okay, so Sir Patrick, we have to move over to the new heaven and hell. So right now, what are other ways? We have questions for you right now. I want to say them out, so you probably try to articulate things in your head to probably answer them. What other ways can we see heaven? Is this something that we can redefine? Because check the Bible. The Bible says something. It says, "He that wants to follow me, should carry his cross and follow me. That is not talking about physical labor. Okay, that's trying to explain something else. Now, the way the Bible describes heaven, what if it's not actually pointing to the physical structure that we have in our minds? What if it's actually trying to explain something else? Because most times, more often than not, the Bible always is trying to explain something else with something probably mentally, physically mental, or something. But it's trying to probably explain physical objects, use physical objects to explain something else, or mental
Yeah.
things to explain something else. So right now, can you define what heaven is to us? Number one. The other question you will be asked is, the soul that sinners shall die. Can you tell us what this means outside the conventional way of interpreting it? Number the next question. The Bible says all sinners will perish in the lake of burning sulfur. What is your take on this? Knowing that the Bible sometimes requires probably intelligence to actually know exactly what it's talking about. The Bible says when you want to go and preach, take off your shoes, your bag, and follow and go out there and preach. This does not mean you take off your shoes and go. This does not mean that. It means something else, and we feel justified accepting it that way. So, what if we could give a better explanation to this and still feel justified accepting a better explanation? The next question is, can you reframe what the Bible says about the end? Okay, the Bible says the end is going to happen, and if you live well, you are going to be rewarded in heaven. If you don't live well, you are going to. This creates fear in people. That is the simple truth. Now, to some extent, I tend to think, okay, now what if we are using superstition to tell people to stop doing what is bad? Because I do feel sometimes, hey, we are using superstition to tell people to stop doing what is bad. Okay, for instance, now a person may be vile and evil, okay, and probably you want to tell the person to stop doing what is bad, and you know probably if you try to tell the person may just not accept you. Sometimes you may just say, okay, now, okay, um, I want you to change at all cost. So if you don't stop doing this now, this is what will happen to you. And that thing you are saying you are using as punishment or to make that person change. Sometimes or most times, more often than not, is not actually something that is usable. Okay, so we don't know if this is how we have destroyed the whole thing in Christianity. We don't really know. So right, that is what you are going to do. So then you are going to summarize everything, okay, about life, is life being fake and everything. So right now, can you tell us other ways to see heaven? That is the question.
So heaven is, again, according to the Bible, let me go with the Bible's definition of heaven, or the Bible's idea of heaven. So heaven now is a place where people who do good or live their lives in good ways, that is where they go to. That is throughout, like, people that actually live their life in ways that not just affected them, that they live their life so good that they were actually this force of good in wherever they lived, in the environment where they lived. Like, they were actually able to shape things for the better of everybody. Like, you know that when the Bible says take up your cross, and when Jesus Christ said it. So for me, what that means was that, life is full of challenges. So it's not saying that even with the challenges in your life, like with everything that it gets thrown at you, you will still, if you say you are for me, you will still take up your cross and follow me. So I think that's what the Bible means there. While heaven now is a place where if you can follow him until the very end, that is, even though a lot of challenges get thrown at you, you will still be able to come out at the very end as somebody that, let's say, God or Jesus Christ will want to live with forever and ever. But what most people don't see is that they think that living like being so perfect is not something that is really possible if we are true to ourselves. But it's something that we should attain to. Like, there is no such thing as perfection, but it can be excellence. So excellence now is that it's not that you don't have flaws, or that looking at things going wrong either with you or around you, then trying to make all those things better. So for me, in a way, excellence is better than perfection, because perfection is just everything just looking right, while excellence now is looking at something, then trying to make that thing better. So in a way, you could actually make something that is perfect better.
Okay.
So for me, I think that is what the whole concept of heaven is, simply a place where if you as a worker, like now the Bible refers to people, like to human beings as laborers, that if you are a Christian, for example, and we live in world, so after your labor here on earth, like if you can work well and deliver, like as a worker now, definitely you must have harvest. Like if you can work well and deliver good harvest to God, so definitely your reward now will now be heaven.
But the way
But if you are not able to, like,
but the way many people take this
and
heaven
if you
of
are
a
not,
thing is they feel
yes,
for heaven is probably this austere form of approach. You take this austere approach to life, and you just probably have to um exude sadness, and you just have to show sadness all over you, and that is heaven. I don't believe this is the process of heaven. That's why I say we have to
yes, yes,
redefine it right
me
now.
neither. Because a lot of people have a wrong idea of like living their lives, or even of a lot of things. So for most people, they feel like you as a Christian, you must live your life as like you must be sober, you must always be almost sad looking, you must just look poor. Again, a lot of people believe that if you are a poor, sober Christian, then those are the ways for you to get into heaven. But for me, that whole thing is just a bad misconception, because they look at wealth as something that is evil, and they misquote the Bible. They go, the root of all evil is
Mm.
money. But again, the funny part is that a lot of all these people want to go to heaven, where they say the streets are made of gold,
Good. Is that the
the
money?
gates are made of different precious metals. So for me, it's not that wealth is actually it's not a bad thing. It's you becoming overcome by the wealth, where instead of you controlling it, it now controls you. Like it now shapes your mind. Instead of you shaping, like directing, because again, wealth is just
Yes.
probably your possessions, maybe a car, a house. Instead of you now saying, okay, these are worldly, or these are possessions that I worked for, or that I built myself. I'm the one in control of all this. So most people now let all these things get into their head. Like I think in Bible, Jesus Christ said it will be as difficult for a rich man to get into heaven. It will be easier um
Needle.
for a camel to
Yeah, to
go
go through
through
the eye of a
the
needle.
needle's eye than
Yeah.
for a rich man to get into heaven. So the needle's eye, now there is this particular type of door in the Middle East. They call it the needle's eye. So that
Okay.
door now is only a camel that can go through that door. So if
Wow.
somebody is on the camel now, the person will need to come down from the camel so that the
Okay.
camel can go in. Then the
Wow.
person go out. So somebody mounted on sitting on the camel now cannot actually go through that door. The person
Ah.
must come down. So that now is the parable. What it means is that that a lot of rich people, a lot of people on earth, once they start becoming rich or wealthy, the thing like it gets into their head. So things that they were doing that were good before, like a lot of them, they now seem to, in a way, they almost become like Satan. They want to exalt themselves higher than they were. They forget where they came from and who, like, how fragile humanity is, how fragile every single thing around us is. Like people can die at an instant. Things can also people can also really be created or be born. Like don't really control as much as we think we do. But a lot of people, once they now start to have that they are greater than who they are. But if you notice, a lot of the events happening around the world always humbles humanity. No matter how, one thing for me that I never forget is that no matter how much we as human beings feel we have come in science, no matter how far we feel we have come in science, there is a lot of problems that we as humanity, even the white people, there are a lot of already have the solutions to.
uh,
So that thing now should always, I think, is something that a lot of people should never forget. Is almost sort of a humbling something because a lot of people get carried away that humanity, we have sent, we have been to Mars, we have been to the moon, we have done this. Some people will now even go, what can humans not create or what can human beings not do? We cannot do a lot of things.
yes.
So that is what wealth, or that is what a lot of power does to humanity now. It makes them, in a way, it makes them forget just how fragile everything is around us and just how out of control a lot of things are. That we don't control, or we are not as powerful as we think we are. We are still subject to the forces of nature. Like, see the earthquake in Turkey and Syria, where 40,000 people died. You cannot tell me that among those people there were no rich or powerful people. Or let's say during the COVID-19 period, a virus, just one virus, brought the whole world to a standstill. I think if somebody had told you that that thing would like there'll be a time in which a huge part of the world will be shut down, you will not want to believe.
Yeah.
But that virus brought the whole world to a standstill. Just showing you that no matter how powerful we think we are always at the mercy of nature or at the mercy of God.
Okay.
So I think that is what wealth. That is what it's not that wealth is what does that thing to people. That people now start to think that way when they become wealthy. So for me, in a way, it's a sort of oversight or a form of blindness that you are not really seeing things based on what they are. You are not looking at things because you feel like your whole thinking has not changed because of whatsoever you feel you have now. But wealth again is not a bad thing because wealth allows you to buy a good house so that landlord will not be coming to knock your door when your rent expires. Wealth again allows you, if you want to go to church,
Yes.
you can enter a car to church.
Uh,
Enter your own car to church.
yeah.
A comfortable. Again, there are different types of cars. So if you have 1 million naira, you can buy a 1 million naira car. But if you buy a 10 million naira car, you must feel the difference because a lot of time and effort, more time and effort went into developing that more expensive option. So that one is always going to be more comfortable. So wealth now allows you to have higher levels of comfort than you would normally if you did not have the money. So wealth for me is not really a bad thing. The bad thing is that people now start to think like most people they now become so comfortable that they now feel like like they are now in control of everything. So for me, wealth is not really the root of all evil. It's how we take the wealth to be. Because again, don't forget, Abraham in the Bible was one of the wealthiest people who exist. Same thing with Job. But even when Job was still dead, he did not. Every single thing was taken from him. He did not still fall short. So he had wealth. He had wealth than more people now save. But so if wealth is bad for me, and for a lot of people that say that wealth is bad, if wealth is bad, why would God bless Job? Why would God bless Abraham? Why would God bless Isaac? And why would God bless all their generations down? And why, after blessing them, why will He take credit for him? Because if you help somebody, for example, do a bad thing or a wrong thing, will you take credit for it? No. So wealth now is not really an evil. It's just how people take the wealth to be.
Okay, so you said money is the root of all evil. Is how you take money that determines whether or not it's going to be the root of all evil for that person.
Yes.
So that the scripture redefined.
Yes.
Like I always say this, there's nothing wrong with the Bible. When I've checked the Bible with a very high critical science view and look at it like there's nothing wrong with that place, that thing there. There's just like people are not interpreting it. There's no quality interpretation to it. And in our country, there's less of teaching and more of praying. They don't spend time to really teach the people. Quality interpretation is down. Like say this on the money is root of all evil. Many people are gonna interpret this how you take the money. So preachers ought to focus on how the people take the money, working on the common mindset of the people. That's what they're supposed to focus on. But they usually don't focus on this. And that is the exact cause of the problem we are having today. That's the problem. So right now, What you need to right now, you prepare scriptures in your mind that you have that you know is commonly misinterpreted that you want to correct. Like that one you said, that Kame, that rich one. I really want to talk about that. Like I've never gotten that explanation. I never knew. I was thinking, how would the Kame going through a needle's eye? No, I never knew they had a place
Yeah.
like that only a Kame could go through. Wow, that's really really beautiful. I don't think they've interpreted this to us the way you have done it.
Yeah.
But let's go over to the next
A
right
lot of
now.
them they just used to
Yeah, go on.
a lot of people just used to misinterpret that place like, okay, if you are rich, you will
Mm.
not go to heaven.
Never go to
So they
heaven.
just take it as face value that because again, it is if you don't actually think about it deeply, you just see that a huge camel that will be easier for that huge camel to go through
Hey,
probably a tiny needle's
little
eye and for the
eye.
rich man to get into heaven.
Yes.
So the whole thing, man, you just take it as the face interpretation.
Yeah.
You will actually not get it. So that whole place now is just a parable.
Wow, wow, that's
So
beautiful.
that needle's eye, like I said,
Mm.
is a small door.
Okay.
So only a camel now can
Can
pass
go
through that
through
door.
that pass through
So
that
if
door.
somebody's on the camel,
You make it uncomfortable.
you know that doors have a height now. Like
Yes,
if somebody's on a camel,
I
the person
understand.
and the camel will not be able
To
to
go
go through.
through.
So the person will actually need to come down from the camel, so that only the camel can go
Uh,
through first before the person goes through
well,
that
let's
particular
let's let's
needle's
shift
eye.
that thing very well right now. Does it not mean this thing like you're on the camera right now? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be uncomfortable to go through the
Yeah,
stuff, the eye. You're gonna be uncomfortable to
yeah,
go through that door. So right now, what if Jesus was trying to say, hey, you really don't have to be carried away, don't be stuck in that your wealth. For instance, if I am stuck,
yeah,
if I just want to be on that camel, I will not be able to go through that stuff.
yes,
But if in my mind, hey, I can
exactly.
come down anytime and go up anytime, I'll be able to go through that door. What Jesus was trying to say, hey, this message is for
Yeah,
people who are probably stuck in their wealth. Some people are just stuck in their wealth. Their heads are just buried in their money. What if it's the kind of people Jesus was talking
yeah,
about? With this explanation, we
yeah,
have that scripture redefined. It's not what you were thinking, hey, the camel is going to go through the eye of the needle. Since it is impossible for the camel to go through the physical eye of the needle, then it is impossible for rich men to go to heaven. So you should understand the misinterpretation that we're talking about. Okay, you should understand it. This is really powerful. So right now, the soul that sinneth shall die. Can you really explain
yeah,
this? The Bible most times does not talk about physical things. You require a good mind to interpret the Bible really well. So it requires somebody who is very, very intuitive to some extent to interpret it very well.